Now, with Starfield just around the corner, there are a lot of people out there going, oh man, am I going to miss out? What should I do? Should I get my Series X? Should I get a Series S? Should I sell my PlayStation 5? What do I do? Let me help you navigate these trying times, because don't go out and sell your PlayStation 5 for one game. The news stories out there, there's people being like, people are selling their PlayStation 5s just for Starfield. Don't do that. I think there's a better option that'll give you more games. It might cost you a couple extra bucks, but just trust me, don't do that. Now let's first address the price situation. $299 for Series S, or actually $349 if you're getting the Carbon Edition, which does add an extra 500 gigs of internal storage or around that, which makes the Carbon Edition extremely compelling. Extremely compelling, except all third-party accessories are white, so you're going to have to deal with that. At any rate, we're not going to get into that just quite yet. And then we have the Series X. $500. If you're a single game kind of person, if you're going to do Game Pass, I guess, and Starfield, I mean, if you're going to just buy Starfield outright, I'm not sure. If it's a toughie as far as the price is concerned, because, again, single game, I would just almost lean into the Series S because the practicality of the thing. It's small, compact, and you're only going to be playing one game. But if you're a power user, chances are you might even have a PC. I'm not sure. But the price point alone is the first thing to consider. You got to look at your budget. If your budget allows for a $500 console, let's move on to the next thing. If it doesn't, let's still move on to the next thing. Performance. And with performance, I think that it's important that we discuss the elephant in the room. 30 frames per second. Both the Series S and the Series X will be running this game at 30 frames per second. And for some of you, you think that this is going to be a massive, terrible thing, then this game's not for you. You can complain about it all you want, just don't get it. And really, you'll be disappointed, because if 30 frames per second is that big of a deal to you, which I'm not discrediting, I'm just saying, if it's that big of a deal to you, don't waste your money or time or energy or whatever. You know, you can bitch and moan about it all you want. It doesn't change the fact that it's 30 frames per second. So when it comes to the actual performance itself, that's what we're dealing with. Now we got to talk about resolution. Now, if you have something like this right here, that's my LG C2, then you're probably going to be able to see all of the little nooks and crannies that a 1440p image on a Series S will leave out. And that's could be distracting for some. I don't think it's actually that big of a deal, but that can run 4K and high frame rate. So that actually is going to be able to showcase what the Xbox has to offer. But here's the big thing. Do you have something like that? Because if you don't have something like this and you're like, I just want to play this one game. Hey, if I stand right here, I have horns. Weird, right? Anyway, and I just want to play this one game, then why waste your money on more performance when really it's not going to change much for you? But that's not the only thing to consider. Time. How much time do you have to dedicate to this game? It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a really long one. And if you already don't have an Xbox and you're like, I don't know, what do I do? Then, you got to really ask that question. I think it's important to understand and self-evaluate. Hey, am I really going to be able to sit down for a few hours a day? Am I going to be able to sit down for a couple hours a week? Am I going to be able to sit down sparingly for 30 minutes to an hour here and there? And let that guide your decision. Because if you go out and upgrade and get a crazy, insane gaming setup and you barely utilize it, then you're just going to be sitting there almost resenting the fact that you got yourself into this crazy situation just to not use it. So again, evaluate your situation when it comes to the time you'll be able to dedicate to Starfield and make your decision there. If you're someone who has the time to really sit down and enjoy it, then yeah, get the Series X. I know some of you are going to argue, they're like, well, I want to have the best experience. I don't have a lot of time, so I want to have the best, absolutely top-end thing when I do sit down. And to you, I say, awesome. You know that about yourself. That's important. That's really good to understand. But like I did, unfortunately, at one point I had a Series X, and when I got it, I was so excited, but I barely used it. So I'm sitting here on this insane, awesome piece of tech. This was a was story, not an is story. And I was so disappointed because I was sitting on $500 that I just completely was underutilizing because of my use case in that given moment. So that's something that is really important to know. So let's chat about the future of this game, because this game obviously is a big one. We've been talking about it forever now. Everyone's been so excited. I have been on and off about it, and I think I'm excited about it, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to help you figure out where you should be. Should you go out and purchase an Xbox to play this game? If you're interested in it, I think you absolutely should. Should you upgrade from your Series S to a Series X to enjoy this game? And that's where you're going to have to do a lot of that self-evaluation, because while I don't think it's necessary to enjoy this game in a really, really high capacity, or at a really high capacity, I don't know how to speak, didn't go to college, but I don't think it's necessary to do that. I think that for some of us who have the ability and the technology to experience this at the maximum resolution possible, it might be worth it. It really comes down to how important is this game to you. I think it's going to be a pretty spectacular game. It is admittedly outside of my interests when it comes to what I usually play, but still going to see how it runs, because heck, if it's caused this much disruption in the gaming industry, I would be doing a disservice to myself and to you, because I'm sure you're going to have questions, to not play it. So I am excited to at least try it out. But I don't think that upgrading a console, this is my hot take, I don't think that it's necessary to upgrade. And if you were to go out and purchase a console for just this game, I probably would lean on the Series S. And that's purely because of the only difference, I'm sure there's going to be more textures and stuff, is 4K and 1440p. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to know. Let's argue about it. Let's talk about it. I appreciate you guys sticking around for all the different things here and there that I talk about on this channel, because I'm always changing things, because I don't know what I want to do with my life. But thank you. You guys are awesome. And as always, the most important thing, happy gaming.